day 2 now that I'm doing this vlog. I think is what they call it. I don't know if that's the right term, but yeah, just today's been a pain in the ass because I thought I had a buyer for my computer that I'm trying to sell to get some extra money, and it's just turned out that the two people that were interested were both actual frauds, and their PayPal account that they said existed doesn't. And then I got a text message from a third person saying he has a valid PayPal account, but when I called PayPal, they said that account doesn't exist. And that's kind of hurtful and painful because the fact that, I was kind of excited, hey, I'm selling this computer finally, and I'll be able to have money to afford some stuff. I mean, the reason I'm trying to do this is when I was looking at my financial aid and what money I might have left, if I might have enough to pay back UNT, I'm short about $400. The reason I owe UNT is that when I dropped out last semester, they basically said I owed them money, and originally I owed them $1,600. Now I owe them about $2,200 because they sent it to a collections agency, and that's one thing now that has been feeding my anxiety and thus feeding my depression because I can't go back to UNT until I pay them. I can't officially get my transcripts for here until I pay UNT, and I can't do anything without paying UNT, and it sucks. I mean, right now, I'm trying to figure out what to do about that. Because I want to finish school, I want to stay in school, and I want to be able to graduate. Because when I was, I think in first grade, I got sent to a behavioral institute, and that's where I found out about the autism spectrum disorder. But I was told by a doctor I wouldn't graduate high school, and I now graduate high school, and I wouldn't mind graduating college not only to be able to get a good job, but I can also be able to tell that doctor you're an idiot, and you shouldn't tell people what they can and can't do because of their disabilities. I mean, just because I have a developmental delay and the ODD, I'm not going to be able to supposedly um, be smart enough to graduate from high school, let alone college. But for the past 5 years, I've been in school. You might wonder why I've been in school 5 years. I've changed my major about 5 times, and each time I changed it, I just felt horrible because I was teaching, but when I started at UNT a teaching major, I took teaching classes, and I did my first lesson plan, and I failed, and thus I failed the class. And at that time is when I started dating my ex. I think technically it was the second semester, with my ex, and that was hard because then I decided, oh, why not try social work? And when I did social work, I was doing good in my classes, I passed stuff, and when I went to apply to the program, I got denied, which was kind of stupid because the fact that I had a 3.0 GPA, and there were some people in that class that had a 2.75 GPA. And I think the reason I feel like I got denied was because of my disabilities. Because the way that the teacher who does the acceptance saw me, and the way that I talk, which not only saddens me, but pisses me off because the fact that, yeah, I might talk differently. Yeah, I might not sound that intelligent, but I am. I mean, if they ever look past that part of my life or part of my speech and stuff, they realize that I know I'd be good at the job. And I didn't fight for it because I'm like, this ain't worth it, and I don't have the time to. So I ended up switching to psychology. And my ex did it at around the same time, because she switched before I did. And I love psychology so far. I just wish I could have graduated by now. Because right now I'm having to pick back up my GPA because when I was dating, I focused more on the relationship than I did with school. Now counting, I tried to hold a job. I think my second semester at UNT, and during that time, I actually caught mono, and this was in the last 2 or 3 months of school. I only had it for a month, but I missed too much work, got laid off, and missed a lot of school, which definitely affected my grades. But it's like what haunts me right now mainly is that relationship. Because I enjoyed being around her. I enjoyed, the companionship. Yeah, there was that problems go on, with the abuse and the bickering and everything else. But I still felt whole around her. And it's just, I question right now whether she was in that relationship fully or not, or whether I was a tool, and whether she truly loved me, or whether, she was desperate because she has cerebral palsy. And I'm not saying that because she has cerebral palsy that she was desperate. I'm saying that because of the way her personality was, it seems like that. Because she was an intelligent woman. It just, she had her own issues, her own, I think, personal or self-esteem issues. I mean, that's what made the relationship hard, is that when somebody else isn't sure about themselves, whether they're pretty or good looking, or whether they'll ever be loved or not, puts a huge hole in the relationship. Because from day one, I myself doubted the relationship. I never had a good feeling about it. And I had friends warn me to get out of that relationship. Stop doing some of the stuff we were doing. Otherwise, it's going to lead to destruction. And ultimately lead to me getting her pregnant. They were all right. Now I have to suffer not only from getting over that relationship, getting over that friendship, but now I have to suffer giving up the child. Which feels like my heart was ripped out. Because since that day, I have not felt whole. Even with my religion holding me together, I haven't felt whole, and I don't think I'll feel whole for a while. I know at 2 o'clock that I get to see my son and Skype him, but I'm worried right now that I'll have an anxiety attack either during or after, or break down crying like I normally do, because I'm sick and tired of feeling like I'm sad. I mean, it's like I might wonder what would it be like without these disabilities, but I've had them for so long. I don't know what it would be like. I don't know how it feels to be normal, to be happy all the time, and only be sad once in a while, and be able to enjoy stuff, and not get anxious about stuff, and not be able to go to events. Because each time I go to events or I go hang out, probably about 10 minutes in, I just want to go back home and be away from people, be isolated. I mean, it's like right now, I'm in my dorm room. A, because there's nobody really here, but B, because I don't want to interact with people. I haven't even taken my medicine yet, and I kind of don't want to. I know it helps to a point, but it doesn't fully help enough to where I don't feel the way I feel. And it's just sometimes I also wonder, I know I say that my faith helps me, but sometimes I wonder, it's like, why is God doing this? Why does He have stuff like this, like depression, anxiety? Why is there cancer or all that stuff? It's like, I wonder sometimes, how does He say He loves us, but then He puts us in so much pain and suffering? Especially those of us who suffer with depression, small or severe. It's like, why do we have to deal with this? Why does this stuff have to exist? I mean, mind you, I know that, He died on the cross for us and He can feel what we feel. But at the same time, I still wonder why. I mean, back to that relationship, I'm kind of happy I'm out of it because I know I wasn't ready. Not only because of possessive issues, but because of how I acted in that relationship. I wasn't acting like me. Mind you, I did care for her and I did love her and I would do anything for her, or I did. It's just I felt so unappreciated because I would help her get her stuff out of her backpack, get ready for class, sometimes help her in the bathroom, or I would help her in a sense by having somebody around. And I know sometimes I wanted to be there around her all the time, which now I know that you need space. Um, this was technically my second relationship because each time it seems like when I give myself away, I get turned down. The first relationship, I probably would date that person again because she was a wonderful woman. I was engaged to her, I was in high school, and sometimes it's puppy love, according to some people, but I was really in love with her. Yeah, with my second girlfriend, I was in love with her enough to have a child with her, but Was that love there with her? Did she truly love me when she said I love you? And it's like, how am I supposed to date somebody again? And somebody says, "Oh, I won't leave you. I'll always be here for you." It just seems like when people say that, they don't fully mean it. That a month later, a year later, or even 2 weeks later. I know I've only had two girlfriends, but they say, "Oh, this relationship is not for me," or "this isn't working out," and then they leave you. You know, they made a promise never to leave you. They leave you. Or they promise that, "Oh, if we have sex, we'll get married." And then a month later, they go, "We're going to break up." So how am I supposed to put my heart out there and trust somebody when they say that they won't leave me, that they do love me? And although no, they are sure they love me. I mean, how am I supposed to put myself out? I know I'm gonna have a couple years, especially if I decide not to date while I'm in college. But I wonder, am I ever gonna be fully healed enough to where I can date? And I wonder sometimes, am I a person that somebody can love? I mean, because it's just one thing, it's like we all have callings, supposedly, either to religious life or marriage, or I think those are the only two I can think of now, but religious life for me is out the window because mentally I'm not healthy, and you have to be healthy mentally. And one of the last things I think I'm going to talk about, because I need to at least try and get something done for homework, I don't want to, is that it's like in college, it's harder when you have depression because you have all this homework you have to do, all this studying you have to do. And when depression, you just don't want to do it. You just want to sit back and do nothing. Either you want to just play video games or you just want to watch Netflix or anime in my case. And the other hard thing also in college is that you're around people all the time, especially if you live in a dorm and you need to have good hygiene. But once again, it seems like with depression, it's hard to have good hygiene. It's hard to brush your teeth every single day. I'm getting better at taking showers, but I don't know if that's good enough. I mean, I'm gonna try and keep doing these vlogs and see if this helps. I know at first I might only talk about my relationship, but that seems like that right now is the only thing in my life that was good. I mean, my memory isn't that good, thankfully. And slowly, I'm forgetting a lot of stuff, which sometimes is a curse because when you only remember the good stuff and your memory's not good, you can't. It vanishes, it disappears. And it's just like, I can't remember every moment I had with my child in that hospital. And I know I acted sometimes inappropriate in the hospital when I was with my ex. We didn't do anything, but I wanted to. I mean, just life is a bitch. And I'm hoping I can get through this. I just have to make it to Wednesday. And hopefully, this psychiatrist will help me and not hinder me and put me on all these drugs because I don't want to be over medicated.